Hey guys, welcome back to another NBA video. In this video, I'm going to talk about how good are the Miami Heat going to be. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's get this video to 5 likes. Alright, let's begin the video. Alright, the first thing I'm going to talk about is how the Miami Heat really played amazing this season and definitely how well they played in the playoffs. The Miami Heat definitely played better than I thought they were going to play this season. The first player on the Miami Heat I'm going to talk about is Kendrick Nunn, an undrafted rookie who became the surprising storyline of the NBA this year. Also, the next player I'm going to talk about is Duncan Robinson, a undrafted D3 player who became another surprising NBA story. Also, I want to talk about Herro, who definitely played better than a lot of people thought. In this league, Kendrick Nunn was definitely top 10 rookie in my opinion, and he was undrafted, which is pretty crazy because you rarely see an undrafted prospect do much in the NBA unless you're playing 2K. Kendrick Nunn, in my opinion, is one of those players, if you need a bucket, he can get you one. He isn't the best defender or passer, but he's a pretty good scorer. He averaged around 50 points and shot 44% from the field, which is one of those people that just score the ball and that's it. But he's undrafted and it doesn't really matter. And the Miami Heat needs like those players that can just score the ball. Now, the next player I'm going to talk about is Duncan Robinson, a player who become one of the best shooters in the league this year, which is pretty crazy because he's undrafted, and you usually don't see players like that. Pretty crazy to think that Duncan Robinson played D3 basketball and also didn't think he was going to make the NBA, but now he's become one of the best shooters in the league, which is just good for him and good for the Heat because they got a good shooter that can help Bam and Jimmy Butler, who aren't the greatest shooters, but they're average shooters. The next player I'm going to talk about is Herro, who wasn't thought to do anything special this year by a lot of people, and a lot of people thought he shouldn't even be picked by the Miami Heat, but he's definitely in my top 5 rookies this year. And Herro is one of those players, just like Kendrick Nunn, who could just score the ball and in good moments. I can see Herro averaging 20 points in today's league. He's averaging around 13 points and shooting like 40-something% from the field. And I think he's shooting around 40% from the 3, I think so, which is pretty good for a rookie. I think he also made first team all-rookie this year. The next player I'm going to talk about is Bam, who is the Miami Heat center, who steadily improved this year. Bam is a really good defender for a center, and he's also a good rebounder and scorer in the paint. And he's also, for a center, he's a good passer, and he's not the best shooter, but he's an average shooter for a center, which he can also improve on that and become a good shooter in the NBA, which will steadily help improve the Miami Heats. Also, the next player I want to talk about is Jimmy Butler, who is this season proving the haters wrong by becoming a good leader on a team, because when he was in Minnesota and on the Sixers, he was thought to be a toxic player in the locker room, but the Heat's players say he's an amazing mentor for them and a really good locker presence, which just shows that it wasn't his fault, it was the other players on his team's fault. And also, Jimmy Butler this season actually played really well. He played really good defense when he wanted to, and he played really good offense when he wanted to. He also showed really good passing skills he has, and he helped the Miami Heat win games. In the trade deadline, they got key pieces to their playoff run, like Jay Crowder and Iggy. They're really good pieces for them because Jay Crowder is a good shooter, and he's also a good defender. And same for Iggy. He's an alright shooter, and he's a good defender. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think the Miami Heat were gonna make it to the finals, but shout out to Jacob though, who said they were gonna make the finals. The Miami Heat went into the playoffs ready to win, and they made it to the finals, which is just crazy. When they went against the Bucks and the Celtics, I didn't think they were going to win that series, but they proved me wrong by beating them. And then when they made it to the finals and they went against the Lakers, I thought they could win because I was on high hopes for them after they beat the Celtics and the Bucks. But they won 2 games, which is pretty good, more than other people thought. Now, let's talk about the Miami Heat might do in the free agency this season. I think they might save some money so they can sign some other stars in the next free agency, which is an elite free agency class. They are either going to give Dragic a 1-year deal or a smaller 4-year deal that Dragic might not want to accept, so he might go to a different team, so they might not have him next season, which could suck. They also can trade for Chris Paul because the Thunder said they will send him to a team that will give them some young players and some picks. They can give the Thunder players like Derrick Jones Jr. and they also can give them Kendrick Nunn and some picks. This might do the job, and they can get Chris Paul. If they get get Chris Paul, they're definitely championship contenders. Alright, if the Miami Heat get Chris Paul, then it's just like, it's going to be an amazing team because Chris Paul is a really good perimeter defender and he's really good at offense. His passing is elite, his shooting is good, and his scoring in the paint is good. So it just makes him all around a really good player. And he's a good point guard, which the Miami Heat don't have a good point guard. I mean, if they lose Goran Dragic, because Goran Dragic is a good point guard, they will have 3 all-star players if Bam becomes an all-star player, which will increase their chances way more next year. Also, if Bam has a steady improvement, makes the pick and roll with Chris Paul probably going to be pretty good. And if Bam can shoot, he'll add like another shooter right next to Chris Paul. Also, if Duncan Robinson and Herro improve, he'll add 2 great shooters right next to Chris Paul. They'll also have a lot of great role players that Miami Heat have on their roster that will make them really good. Also, the Miami Heat could wait for the next free agency and like let their players just improve a little bit more. They can go for Giannis, Paul George, or Kawhi, and other players that are in the free agency next year. If the Heat go for the next free agency idea, they're probably going to get bounced out of the 2nd or 3rd round. Maybe make the finals next year, but I doubt it. They might be able to sign Giannis, and if they do, their team is just going to be extremely elite. Because Giannis, he's a great scorer. He might, in the next 2 years, he might become an actual average shooter, but I doubt it. But he could. He said he's always trying to improve that, but players always say that. Ben Simmons said that, and that man is not very good from the 3. And this will also be Tyler Herro's 3rd year, which could mean he become a player who isn't an all-star yet, but close to it. And Jimmy Butler would be an all-star player, and Bam could also be an all-star player. And Duncan Robinson will be that guy who just shoots the ball when he's open, and he could average like 10 points like he does now, and just be a great piece right next to Giannis. And if Giannis joins the team, they're gonna at least win at least 1 championship in the next 5 to 10 years, or even more. I probably think they'll win like 3, because that team is just crazy if they get Giannis. They also can become easily one of the best shooter teams of all time. The Heat are a very good destination for a lot of options, like Paul George. If the Heat go the route of signing Paul George, it also be good because Paul George can become a really good 2nd or 3rd option. They can also go the route of signing Kawhi, which would be crazy. Their perimeter defense will just be elite. It'll be the same if they got Paul George too. And also, they'll have one of the 2 of the clutchest player in the league. And also, actually, they might have 3, because Tyler Herro will become one of those players also. Also, having a player who doesn't have the biggest ego in the world like Kyrie, Kawhi will go to the Heat to win, not make his stats look good. I think the Heat players will work well with Kawhi because they have the same mindset as Kawhi. They're just trying to win and not really worry about their stats at all, because most of them don't even average over 10, and they're just playing good defense for them. They also can go the route of letting Tyler Herro, Bam, Duncan Robinson, other young players they have on their team to just improve, and they are the ones to get the Miami Heat to the championship. And if they do this, they don't have to trade away picks or players. Jimmy mentor the younger players, and they just build up. They might not win a championship in the next 3 years, or they could win one because they didn't make it to the finals this year. But I don't know. The Nets are coming back. It's just gonna be a lot harder. The Bucks are probably gonna improve because they're trying to keep Giannis happy. It's just gonna be a lot harder for the Heat than this year. So it could take like 3 to 4 or 5 years for them actually to get to the championship, and that could be a good choice. Like, just lend the players they got now to do it. In my opinion, if I was the Heat, I'd probably trade for Chris Paul, because I think Chris Paul could add a good leadership piece to the Miami Heat, and he would just be right next to Jimmy Butler, and it would be just elite. He can also be a really good mentor for the young players, and also can help the Miami Heat win a championship. Alright guys, this is the end of my video. If you like the video, give it a like, and if you want to, subscribe to the channel. Alright, goodbye.